Good afternoon, greetings everyone. Um, I just wanted to come on here today and do a little video um, about a couple of charts that I had made some time ago and never got around to posting about them. But I had joined two charts here uh, from the half of the screen going up and from the half of the screen going down in reverse format. But basically, I wanted to address the usage of autosomal DNA to compare to ancient civilizations. So a lot of it's popular now that a lot of the DNA companies, as marketing thing, they're using ancient civilizations to match to their customers, and I believe this is completely useless, and I'm going to explain why with this chart. With the two charts. When I got into doing DNA, I tested my whole family, multiple companies, and doing genealogy and uploading my data to websites like GEDmatch. Um, what they use is something called centimorgans. So the 100% of the autosomal DNA that is used, that comes from 22 of the 23 chromosomes in each one of your cells, is broken down to like, 7,200 and some parts, right? And you inherit half of that from each of your parents, a quarter of that from each of your great grandparents, your grandparents, and so on up the line. You can pretty much calculate half. You lose all of your ancestors by half each generation, half. And that's why a lot of DNA companies don't even consider putting matches on your lists of matches that are beyond 8 centimorgans. Some companies like Ancestry used to give you even as far back as 6 centimorgans, but genetic genealogists, right? People that are building trees and they're using DNA to do triangulation, right? Will tell you matches that are that distant a lot of times are simply there through statistical noise, right? And so someone that matches 6 centimorgans with you, for example, could completely be that they just inherited through each generation that there's genetic recombination or random genetic recombination, scrambling of pickings of segments of DNA, right? It could be that a person living today, through all those recombination events that happened, today that person can have at a specific location a combination of amino acids that matches you at that same location on your genome, right? But it doesn't mean that they actually share an ancestor with you, right? So I'm not saying that we discard all the matches that far back, right? But it's something that you have to know. And by the same token, you'll learn that sometimes it happens that people that have matches or should have matches that they don't have. Like you can literally have someone, if you gave a kit to every single person in your family, hypothetically, right? You could say you could have like a third cousin or fourth cousin that you might not have on your list of matches, and they don't have you. But everyone else, they got everyone else, and that you have, and you have everyone else that they have, right? But you all just don't match each other. Why? Because it could be that person inherited a segment of DNA from that ancestor that you both know descend from a specific person on your trees, and you have that person identified because you guys know your family trees. But it could turn out that he inherited a completely different segment from that individual in ancient times, great 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 grandparent, whatever, than you did. And does that mean that they're not your family? No, they're your family, right? But this is just how it works. And the only thing that really is reliable is for ancient civilizations, I would say, is Y DNA, because the Y chromosome, right, the 23rd chromosome that is not used in autosomal, because it's 23 chromosomes and they use 22, but that one chromosome that's a sex chromosome, the Y chromosome is completely incompatible with anything on the female genome. So it passes directly from father to son, to his son, to his son, to his son, and the only reason it changes is through random mutations. And there's rates of mutations that they have calculated, right? They calculate that a mutation happens on average every 3 generations. Okay? So anyhow, let me try to scroll this down and hold it there for a second in case anybody wants to do a screenshot of this and use it for your personal use or to go back and refer to. There you go. Anyhow, let me go all the way as far back as I took it. And I went as far back as the 16th, what would be your 16th great grandparents. Incredible. You would have 131,072 great grandparents. And just as a hypothetical, because most people don't even know, who their great grandparents or great great grandparents were. Some people don't even know who their parents are, right? So imagine that far back. But on a hypothetical, imagine that you knew where every single one of these fossils of your 16th great grandparents level, right? All 131,072 of them, and you exhumed them, and you used a method, take the Petrus bone and uploaded their DNA into, Ancestry or 23andMe or whatever website you're on, they would not match you. If you're a man, there's out of all of those, out of that 131,072, only one would match you, and that would be your direct paternal line ancestor at that level, right? Your father's 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 father. Yeah, that's the one single one you would match. And at that level, you'd probably have a genetic distance of 5 or 6 differences. Through that time, maybe 6 mutations would have happened, approximately. Excuse me. Anyhow, I put some more information on these nodes. That at that level of 16th great grandparents, that would be around 400 years before present. And as far as in percentage of DNA, that would be 0.0008125% of your DNA would match. And in centimorgans, which is what they use in the DNA companies and websites for genetic genealogy, would be 0.05625 centimorgans. 0.00, okay? Completely useless. Remember what we talked about? Genetic genealogists will tell you, don't bet on any matches that are further back than 8 centimorgans. 6 centimorgans, but that's pushing it, right? And let's remember, genetic genealogy is a thing. It's actually even been used to solve cold cases now, right? So when you have companies like MTA, which is My True Ancestry or Ancient Origins, Aaron L. Hike, claiming that they could make these links. It's complete marketing. It's complete marketing to sell, because people love to that's how people make money. That's how the people that know how to make money know that they need to lie to the people that want to hear lies. There's people that their ears are just, they want to hear a lie and believe it. And the people that know how to make money know how to tell those lies. You understand? Anyhow, again, and I don't know if I'll say again, and at that level of 16th great grandparent, you would only match one, and in your Y-DNA, you would have a genetic distance of around 6. Okay? And going back the other way, this is the other chart that I had made, that I had joined to this here. If you literally were in the time of Israel himself, right? 2,000 years before Christ, but BCE, but I like to say BC. All right. All of his descendants would lose his DNA by half just as well. Each generation would lose by half. And if we would go back down, just to go a little quicker and not be hyper redundant, at the level of the 10th generation, that which would be a fossil of somebody that lived 1,750 BCE, they would share 0.097% of their DNA with that further back fossil of Israel, and they would share 7 centimorgans with him, which is like literally already in the threshold of could be statistical noise, right? And make it, even, and probably would have on the Y-DNA, it would be something more usable, probably a genetic distance of 3 or 4. Okay. And just to expedite, I'm not going to go through each one of these, but if you were 40 generations away from Israel, 40 generations away from physical person named Israel by God, right? Who had the 12 sons that were the 12 tribes of Israel, right? At that 40th generation from him, that would be approximately 1,000 years from Israel, at the rate that DNA companies guesstimate to 25 years per generation at childbirthing, whatever. That would be 1,000 years BCE, and I'm not even going to read the percentage of DNA that you would share with that person, because it's completely infinitesimal. You can't even do these calculations on a regular calculator. Not that people even own calculators anymore. I don't believe that people own or know how to use calculators and arithmetics, but it's really appalling to me. In terms of centimorgans, 40 generations from Israel in centimorgans, 1,000 years from actual Israel, and we're 4,000 years from Israel now today. So four times more, imagine. But 1,000 years from Israel, that individual would have shared 0.00000000625 centimorgans. So to say that they can use autosomal DNA to link you to these ancient civilizations is completely ridiculous. And again, when we're saying that genetic genealogists, professionals will tell you, 6 centimorgans and beyond, actually 8 centimorgans and beyond, you have to start thinking about statistical anomalies, statistical noise, right? And here we have people trying to tell you that, they can match your autosomal DNA to a Neanderthal. It's completely bogus. Um, in terms of present day, right? 4,000 years from Israel. Um, your Y DNA would be the only thing that would be usable. If they were to hypothetically find the fossil of Israel, which would never happen, and they could say, "Hey, this is Israel," how would that look like on Y DNA of people alive today? That would look like 53 differences. If you literally found, which is also impossible, and no one's ever going to know who are the true descendants from the loins of Abraham, it's impossible, right? Only God knows this. But imagine that you had the fossil of Israel and you knew people that were the descendants of each one of his 12 sons, each one of the 12 tribes, right? So they all 12 split from Israel. They would have all of them about a genetic distance of 53 to that fossil and about a genetic distance of 106, give or take, to each other from group to group, right? Even spread. Anyhow, I know that this was a little bit of an exuberance, a little bit of an exaggeration, but sometimes these things are needed to explain. Anyhow, thank you for listening to my rant, and if this information, I hope this information is useful, and I don't know. Let me know what you think. You agree or disagree, and have some discussion about this. All right, thanks.